Welcome to the Philantrepreneur Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd, designed to offer tips, strategies, and insight to empower nonprofits and entrepreneurs with sustainable win-win solutions. The Philantrepreneur Show is sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, building capacity through education and professional services.
Well, welcome. Once again, this is Dr. Victoria Boyd, President and founder of the Philantrepreneur Foundation and editor of the Philantrepreneur Journal. And I am also thrilled to bring tips, strategies, and insight for the business and nonprofit sectors. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning here in Las Vegas, and we have another great show with what I feel is some very, very valuable information, not only for entrepreneurs and nonprofits, but this information is great for just individuals in general. It's things that you need to have at your fingertips so that you're protected. You know, you need to be legally protected, or better yet, you need to know where to turn in an emergency. And unfortunately, most times when you are looking for legal advice, it's an emergency. And so this topic is really applicable to everyone. Like I said, individuals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, just everyone across the board. It's something that we probably just don't think about every day. And unfortunately, it does come up, and it's that emergency factor. You end up spending too much money or not getting to the right person that you need. And recently, on several levels, it became, what I call front of mind for me. Personally, I had to think about the concept of a trust and a will. And, we had to have discussion, and that's sort of scary. And then someone was trying to use my identity. So then, okay, we can't have that, so that needs to have protection. And then on the business side, the term philantrepreneur is not that common, but yet it's really compelling and catchy. And so I had to protect my business and investments because someone was trying to trademark the term philantrepreneur. So I've needed services like this, but we're going to get into some other things like contracts and some of the other services we need. But we know that as small businesses and entrepreneurs, you just can't keep a lawyer on staff. None of us do. So we need to have resources so that we can have at our fingertips not the overhead of legal staff, but legal protection that we can call upon whenever we want to. So just think about having the ability to have it before the emergency arises. So after this brief commercial, we'll be joined, by Susan Smith of Legal Shield to discuss your legal and identity protection. And if you want to explore what we're talking about, I want you to visit http://legalshield.com/info/thephilantrepreneur. You can go pull that up and then find out what we're going to be talking today and sort of follow us along on the journey of exploring all of the details. We'll be back in just a moment.
Support for the Philantrepreneur Foundation provided by WarriorDesign.net, providing services including graphic design, innovative flyers, responsive websites, video editing, and more. Offering next-day services at an affordable rate. For more information, visit us online at WarriorDesign.net. WarriorDesign.net.
Okay, that was a quick break from our sponsor, but we want to welcome back, and I want to welcome to the show Susan Smith. She's an authorized independent representative of Legal Shield, and she's sort of an anomaly here in Las Vegas because she was born and raised here. We always think, oh, wow, you're rare. But Susan, welcome to the show. Sit back, relax. I hope you have grabbed your coffee or your tea and you're ready to join us. But tell our listeners a little bit more about your background. They now know that you are a native Las Vegan, but how do you sort of spend your day?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, Dr. Boyd. And you're right, I was born right here in Las Vegas, and My background is engineering, but I actually quit that career to stay home with my 4 beautiful children for about 22 years. So enjoyed the amazing life of a stay-home mom and volunteered for everything. We owned a family business, so I worked really hard in that business. And when that business kind of fell into some troubles, that's really where I found Legal Shield. And so now my days are just really filled with working with the Henderson Chamber, volunteering my time to help small businesses, and just networking with small businesses and wonderful people like you, and just out there trying to help the community the best I can, and making people aware of Legal Shield, because it's just something that people are not aware of. And, it would have really helped us a lot if we'd have known about it way ahead of when we actually found it.
Right. Yeah, and you mentioned that because I know I see you at almost every Henderson Chamber event, and then just even yesterday we were in a training session to get together. So I mean, it's I know you're out and about, and you really have a lot of exposure, and you see a lot of things that many of us don't. I want to say just don't pay attention. So as you know, you're a Legal Shield independent representative. And you said you had a business, and I just happen to know some of this background, but that led you to Legal Shield. What happened in the business that you had to find Legal Shield?
Well, we had a mat manufacturing business. My brother-in-law and I ran it, and everything actually was going really, really well until the economy fell apart. And we had a lot of business coming from home builders, and that kind of went all away really fast. And so in order to save the business, we decided to partner up with these people in Tennessee. Now, they also had a mat manufacturing company. They were really good friends of ours, so we thought, this is the perfect fit. I don't know if you've ever had things come up in your life where you're like, okay, this is the answer. This is going to work. So we took all of our $250,000 printer that we had to print it on carpet, shipped it up to Tennessee, and got everything set up in their facility, and everything was working out really well. And about 4 months into the partnership, they called us and said, we changed our mind. We really don't want to partner with you anymore. You can have all your equipment back. You just can't come on our property. So we found ourselves in a situation. Yeah, and we never thought of that. And I think that's where we were just like a lot of other people, where when you're dealing with certain things, you don't really think of that being a legal matter. We just thought this was something that we were partnering with these people, and just never dreamed that something like that could happen. And at the same time, I personally got sued for a $90,000 credit line that the corporation had out. I had never signed anything, but they picked me to sue. So I was being sued. And of course, the loan for the machine was attached to our houses. So our houses fell into foreclosure, or our house, at least my husband and I's house did. And so we went from everything being fine to thinking that we'd never need an attorney to this gigantic mess. And I think that's the way, we thought the way most people do, and that's, okay, so who am I going to call and how much is this going to cost? We had no idea. So my husband took a day off work. We went to 7 different free consultations trying to find an attorney. They all just told us we were going to have to file bankruptcy, and there was nothing we could do. And the people in Tennessee, the thing is that they knew that we didn't have the resources to sue them. We were priced out of that option. So they figured they could just walk away with our machine, or we would just walk away and they could keep our machine. So we hired a guy, we hired an attorney, and we gave him a huge retainer, and then we never got to talk to him again because he was too busy and too important for us. So, and that's where Legal Shield is really the solution, is because instead of worrying about who to call, we have a nationwide network of professional quality law firms ready to assist you. And instead of worrying about how much it's going to cost, we have a very low monthly fee. So for me, when we got the membership, about 72 hours after we had the membership, I was on the phone with 3 different attorneys here in Nevada, because attorneys specialize in different areas of law. So just like doctors specialize in different areas of medicine, so we needed, so you need different. So we had 3 different attorneys here I was talking to, and then one in Tennessee that because they're nationwide. So the Tennessee attorney he filed a writ of possession here in Nevada, which we would have never known to do that. This is the Legal Shield attorney. And that forced the people to have to come here to fight us rather than, they were going to have the expense of coming to Nevada. And so that was they didn't want to do that, and he knew they were going to back down. So we got our equipment back, and the business attorney we had here in Nevada through our law firm, provider law firm, which is Dempsey, Roberts, and Smith here in Nevada, she got that $90,000 lawsuit down to an $8,000 payoff, so we paid that off. And then as far as our house went, Scott was the attorney that helped us with that. And because I could call him every day, because with Legal Shield, it's unlimited, the legal advice that you can get, he kept me a step ahead of the paperwork, and we were able to get a loan modification. So we saved our house, and we didn't file bankruptcy, and all of that happened because of Legal Shield.
Wow, and that's just impacting your business side. So, and I know there's several different options, and one is for the individual and family, and then there's the small business and then larger business programs. So let's talk about individuals first, because that's really, to me, the scary. I know business, but when you're in business, you sort of anticipate, you're going to have legals and contracts and things like that, and you need to think of that in advance. But in your personal life, it just doesn't cross your mind. It's like, let's just live life. Who's going to sue? How can we possibly need a lawyer? And so, and it becomes, I want to say, very scary when any type of, just the term legal, you need a lawyer. It's just like, oh my God, I have, no idea what to do. But you have a lot of different products for individuals. So, I have them listed here, and maybe you can talk about the ones first that are used most often that you see in your experience. So what would be the hot topic things that people are looking for when they're looking at Legal Shield?
Yes. Well, like you said, most people don't think that they're ever going to need an attorney, and usually it's either because they've never used one or they just don't think they're going to get into trouble. But the wealthiest people keep attorneys on retainer, and it's not because they don't think they're going to get into trouble. It's just because they know that how valuable it is to have legal advice on everyday decisions. Like, for instance, we actually call the law firm. You can have legal advice on an unlimited number of issues. So to me, that's a huge benefit all by itself, because we had, for me, for the house, when I needed to call and get advice, you just call in, give them a little idea of what your question is, and then they'll have the attorney that specializes in what you need call you back. And what's wonderful is that if they think it'll help, they can actually write a letter and make a phone call on your behalf. So a personal example of how we use this is my son. When he was in college, he was just moving into a house closer to the college, and when he moved out, I got a bill for $635 for repairs they said they did in the house. Now, how many times have you heard somebody say that, they moved out and they couldn't get their security deposit back, or they, claimed they fixed things they didn't fix, and things like that with property managers. So that doesn't really come up as a legal question. For a $635 issue, most people aren't going to retain an attorney to take care of something like that. So with Legal Shield, though, we just called the Colorado law firm. They wrote a letter in his behalf, which was completely covered under the membership. And the Touchstone Properties sent him a letter a couple weeks later and said, we credited your account and let your law firm know. So, and just so the audience knows our membership, because of the fact that it's discounted through your organization, it's only a $15.95 a month. So $15.95 a month membership is what I'm talking about here with all these services. And they'll actually review contracts all the time. We don't think about it as being a contract, but if you buy a car, you sign a gym membership, you lease, maybe you're renting an apartment, anything that you're going to sign, you should have an attorney look at it. So
right. With
Legal Shield, you can do that. They'll review contracts and documents for you under the Legal Shield plan. And then we have 24/7 access. And what better place to have 24/7 access than in Las Vegas? But what I was thinking about with the 24/7 access is I have kids that are now on their own and they're in different states, and they're good kids. But if they were ever in a situation where they're maybe in an accident in the middle of the night, or they just happen to be in a place where people are being questioned, detained, it's not going to do them any good to call me. But with Legal Shield, you can call for an emergency, and you'll get an attorney on the phone immediately and be able to get advice, and they can actually talk to whoever's questioning you. And I think this day and age, that's an amazing thing to have, to be able to have, I don't even know if Oprah can get hold of her attorney at 2 a.m. But Legal Shield members absolutely can. So, and then we will, having a will, like you were just talking about, having your will, living will, healthcare power of attorney. It's kind of embarrassing to say, a mom of 4, I didn't have that in place. And it was just because, it was about a $1,500 decision to get that in place for me and my husband. And there's a lot of do-it-yourself things out there that we tried to do, but very confusing, and we just never did it. With Legal Shield, they'll actually prepare your will, living will, healthcare power of attorney for not just the member, but the member and their spouse at absolutely no cost. It's in you for having the service, and it's part of the service that everyone can get that done. And if you keep the membership, which there's no contract with Legal Shield, it's a month-to-month plan, but if you keep it, they'll update your will every year because your life changes, and you should be updating that every will. So that's included in the membership as well. And
you were mentioning your kids. I want to get before, because you were talking about coverage for your kids. In the family plan, because there's a family plan, like in most medical coverage and things, do they age out of being in the family plan? How does that work?
Sure. So what's covered in the membership is it's you and your spouse, and it's actually just if you're living in the same address, so it could be you and your significant other as long as you have the same address. And it's all of your children up to the age of 21 if they're living at home, never married. And if they're in full-time college, it's up to the age of 23. And if you're the legal guardian of the child, it's up to the age of 18. And then if the child is physically or mentally disabled, they are covered for the life of the membership. And so that's who's covered in the plan.
Absolutely. Okay, it's very similar to our medical insurance when you have dependents and things like that. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
That's good to know. Even if they're away at college, like you mentioned, the plan will cover, college students, because that technically is not changing their legal address. It's just that's their school address temporarily.
Correct. And what's really great about that is that since we have a law firm in every state, wherever your child is, if they have an issue, the law firm in the state where they are is going to be the law firm that's going to be assisting them. So, so that gives them the protection. We have many lawyers, attorney generals, things of that nature that have a Legal Shield membership because, one, they maybe don't practice in every area, but also they might have children that are in college in different states. And so they want their child to be protected in that state because they may not be licensed in that state. So the membership is if attorneys understand it.
Yeah. Well, and one item that really caught my attention, and it being tax season right now, that if you're called for an IRS audit, you'll have legal services to represent you. That's a phenomenal feature.
It is. It is. It's. So on your personal taxes, you have 50 hours of a tax attorney's time to assist you if you're ever audited by the IRS. And with the identity theft protection that we offer, tax fraud is becoming one of the fastest growing parts of identity theft as well. That a lot of accountants that I talk to really want people to be aware of that. So,
wow, yeah, and like I said, you don't think about all of these little things and I guess they're not little things, but the day-to-day things that you just take for granted. You get up, you go to work, or, whatever it is you do, that in an instant, something might happen that you need to make sure that you're protected, because generally, everybody out there on the other side, they, have some type of protection, but who's really protecting you? Who's really, looking out for your behalf? And it's not so much, one is right or one is wrong, but you want to make sure that your behalf someone is speaking for you and has your rights and protection in mind front and foremost. And I think that's, a lot of times we'll trust people and your whole business, you're going in business with friends, and then all of a sudden the whole situation turned on you, which, that's scary too. That's almost like a life lesson.
Yep.
Don't go into business with friends.
Absolutely. And, the attorneys, the lawyers can't change the law to make us right, but what they can do is they can reinforce our rights under the law. So anytime you feel like you've been treated unfairly, they can reinforce your rights. And that's the thing that I really realized with Legal Shield is the fact that anytime that you just kind of have that feeling in your mind, can they really do that? Or a store, you're going to return something at the store and they say, hey, it's our policy, we can't do that. It doesn't matter if it's a $5 issue or a $100,000 issue. If Legal Shield feels that you've been treated unfairly and there's something that they can do about it, they're going to help you by writing a letter, making a phone call, and at least telling you what your rights are. I know for me, there were some situations in the past few years where I had a situation with my son's college where I thought I was absolutely, there's no way they can do that. That is just totally unfair. This is wrong. And I called the law firm and I talked to the attorney, and he was so kind. He gave me about a 30-minute conversation about how residency works in the colleges. And you know what? Colleges can do whatever they want when it comes to residency. They don't have to follow any laws. But because he explained it to me and I understood now how it works, I could let it go, because I could let that anger and that stress go and just realize sometimes the law doesn't work the way we want it to work. But if we know how it works, then we have the advantage of what we can and cannot do. And we can let that stress go. If there's nothing we can do about it because the law says there's nothing we can do, we can let it go and not worry about it. So that, you can let it go. So I just tell my clients, it doesn't have to be a legal question. Anytime you think you're going to Google something because you're kind of questioning whether or not, you're not sure how something works, just call the law firm and the attorney will let you know if there's something legally wrapped around that situation that you should be thinking about. It's a proactive membership. We want you to call before you make decisions, before you take action, and use it in that way the best.
And I love that approach, and that's why I did a lot of, what I was saying at the beginning. Stay in front of it. Don't wait until it's an emergency that you need a lawyer or these services. If you're pro and understand, like you said, ask the questions so that you are an informed consumer. Excuse me, and you're not caught in situations, or at least you know when to question something. This is, fantastic on the personal side, and we're going to get into the whole business aspects of what this your protection and what you really need to look at right after these few commercial breaks. I'll be back in just a moment.
The Philantrepreneur Foundation. Build your capacity with our educational programs and professional services. Learn how to be a philantrepreneur, maximize your social impact, and maximize your revenue. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com or philantrepreneurfoundation.org to find services, resources, and training to launch, enhance, or improve your business or nonprofit strategy. While there, sign up to receive the Philantrepreneur Journal digital publication. Today's Philantrepreneur Show tip.
Yes, in every show, I try to give a tip. This is a reminder because we really have some great webinars coming next week, and there's going to be a show special. Last time I announced, about the webinars on February 23rd and 25th, and I said for a $29 donation, you could get both webinars. Well, because this is the week of Valentine's Day, and because love is in the air, if you go in and sign up within the next 24 hours until tomorrow morning, you can sign up for free. Basically, you just enter your information and click through to the registration and PayPal area, but don't go and do the PayPal, you're automatically entering your email. We'll get you registered, and you'll receive the information for the webinar. So for both of these are issues for both nonprofits and business. It's about revenue. Whether you call it fundraising or sales, this area can make or break your organizations. These webinars will break through the important details of being successful. Plus, you get some free resources just for signing up. So Tuesday, February 23rd, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Fundraising the Smart Way, the evidence and need for a change. And then Thursday, February 25th, 9 a.m., same thing, webinar, Selling the Smart Way. Now, you might want to listen to both of them because it's the same general topic, but has a little bit different because the selling one is the science of making the art of selling possible. Register for one, get both sessions, and as I said, for the next 24 hours, you can sign up for free. Just insert your contact info and click the register and pay button, and that's it. Don't complete the pay process. And here's another tip. If you're a TFP, or we also have Philantrepreneur office services. No matter where you are, you can sign up and have a Nevada address. Look on our website, and you'll see how to get that. All members of the foundation or through our office services get all of our training free. That's just another advantage for you.
The Philantrepreneur Journal, a quarterly digital publication reaching over 600,000 entrepreneurs and nonprofits. Get targeted exposure to reach your ideal customer with our unique Ads for a Cause, where 50% of the fee goes to support our nonprofit training and services programs. Together, we can make a difference, create impact, and build capacity. Visit thephilantrepreneur.com, Marketing Ads tab for all the details. Mention this show and get a 10% discount.
Okay, welcome back as we continue our conversation with Susan Smith of Legal Shield. Okay, and we're going to get into some business issues because there's two great plans under Legal Shield that are specifically for small business. There's one that is I think it's for under 10 employees, and then the over 10 employees. But many times, especially as entrepreneurs and a small business owner, we tend to sort of just try to get past some things. Let's just get it done. But I know, and for me, really hitting home, I need, and do contracts often. I have subcontractors. I have speaker contracts. There's all these different things that I have to initiate an agreement for. And then also, as a business, I'm receiving contracts often. And so I had to get my trademark filed, overnight, and then just several other matters. But it's good to really think about and be ahead of the curve what you really need so you don't get into deep trouble because contracts can either protect you or it's just a mess. So, you've had those business issues. We talked about it and how Legal Shield helped you in the business and getting your printer back, just saving you in those aspects. But what are some other really business issues that Legal Shield, you need to have it in your corner for a small business?
Well, like you said, basically every business owner needs to be picking up the phone and talking to attorneys, getting legal advice on pretty much all decisions that they make. And what's wonderful about Legal Shield on the personal and the business side is when you call into the law firm, the attorney will call you back the same day. They're required to call you back within 8 business hours. And for us busy business owners, they can even call back on a specific time. So you can make a phone appointment with them, which is really helpful for that as well. But when you said contracts, that seems to be, when I go and talk to business owners, and I know that with our business before we knew about Legal Shield, we sign things, because we're signing the contract to get the thing that the contract will give us. And a lot of times businesses can't open their doors because they have contracts that they're going to have people signing, and it might be $600 to $1,000 per contract to have those contracts reviewed. So with even our smallest plan, which is $39 a month for businesses that have less than 10 employees, 10 or less employees, you can have 20 contracts up to 15 pages reviewed in a year. So
wow.
up to 6 in a month. So I had a client that was, his business was all ready to go, but he had 3 contracts that he needed to have reviewed from attorneys before he could get his first clients. And all 3 contracts were $600 each, was the lowest cost he could get. So he got the membership, got those contracts reviewed within a week, and he opened his doors and he was ready to go. And the best part is that once they review the contract, the conversation doesn't stop there. So you can pick up the phone the next day and ask them another question about the contract. So just think of it as any time that business owners, when I talk to them, they have an attorney that they already, if they've been in business for a while, they have an attorney that they've been talking to, and that's why they've been able to stay in business. But they save all of their questions and things for a 15-minute conversation because they know the clock starts the minute they pick up the phone. So they won't openly ask questions and get those contracts reviewed on a timely manner, or maybe they'll have 2 of them reviewed and then they'll just not get the 3rd one reviewed because it's almost the same because of cost. So if you could take the cost out of the picture and run your business knowing that you can just pick up the phone and talk to your attorney just like you would pick up the phone and talk to your insurance professional or your financial planner, and keep that conversation, keep the attorney in the loop with all the matters, it's huge. And they will write up to 20 letters in your behalf as well for a business owner. So if you're having an issue with a vendor, there is just something about a letter coming from a law firm. When it comes from the office of, and the letterhead has the all the attorneys' names on it, it has a different impact than when it's just a letter coming from us. So business owners have that ability. The attorneys can write letters in their behalf. And one of the other things that has been, we had a really high accounts receivable with our business because we were just kind of too nice, and we had a lot of people that owed us a lot of money. So, and I find that with a lot of businesses. So with our business plan, even our smallest plan, they'll do 5 debt collection letters a month for the business, and that doesn't cost the business owner anything outside the membership. And that is a letter coming from the law firm to collect the debt. And if the person pays, they're paying the business owner. The attorney's not keeping any of that. It's not like a debt collection thing. It's just a letter trying to collect the debt. So they'll do 5 of those a month for the smallest plan, up to 15 a month for our larger plan. So that's an area where business owners can get the plan, get some of that accounts receivable back immediately to really get some cash flow going back in their business.
Right.
And so go ahead.
Oh, a lot of these things that you're mentioning, because small business, they're overloaded anyway. They're thinking about we've got to sell whatever it is we're selling, our widget, and doing that. And these are what I call the operations or the behind the scenes. And really, it takes so much of, like you said earlier, with the personal side, even on the business side, it takes the worry or the where you just sort of ignore it. You actually put a system in place that you're managing now your business much more effectively and efficiently by doing the most economical way to cover all of your bases, even those that you haven't thought of now. Because like you said, most times when you need a lawyer, it's on emergency. It pops up and you need it right there. And a lot of the areas that you cover, I don't think they even think about. So with securities, what does that involve?
So we also have designated consultations for things that like commodities, securities, patents, copyrights, trademarks, international law, things like that. So what those designated consultations are for, say you have a trademark question or a problem, you can call the law firm, and an attorney that has knowledge about trademarks can give you advice inside your membership. But if it's coming into an issue where there might, because you kind of mentioned you had a trademark problem where there's suddenly you feel like there's going to be something bad happen here, they will actually give you 3 consultations per year, 30 minutes each, with a specialized trademark attorney or a commodities attorney, one of those specialized attorneys inside your membership that doesn't cost you anything. Those attorneys that specialize specifically in those areas are very like $1,000 an hour. So it's kind of like an interim step to get a consultation with that attorney to find out if you have to do anything further, and that's included in the membership. So if something falls outside the membership, so say that with your business you decide that you do need to take someone to court, or something happens to where you're going to have to have an attorney do something outside the membership, you always get a 25% discount on any of the services. That goes with the personal side and the business side. So everything you could possibly imagine that a lawyer can do for you is covered. It's whether it's covered 100% in the membership or it's covered 25% at a 25% discount under the discounted part. So just keep that in mind, that anything that an attorney can do is covered under the membership. And the other thing that is really great is that on the personal side, I encourage business owners. I kind of tell business owners, think what keeps you up at night as business owners and entrepreneurs, or just as parents. When we lay our head to go down, to go to sleep, we have all these things that we worry about. So with business owners, there's always those things that they're thinking about. They'd really like to get an answer to, or just kind of get off their mind. So I kind of ask them, what keeps you up at night? Maybe it's because they have to fire somebody and they're not really sure what's wrapped around that. There's a lot to do with HR questions that the attorneys can really help with. Or maybe they have somebody that has, one of their employees is having an issue and they have to take child support out of their paycheck. And they, I had to do that a few times, and I was always kind of scared. I didn't have Legal Shield. I was always kind of wondering, was I doing this correctly? So there's a lot of compliances and things like that we need to be, we may not even be aware of. So one of the things I love is that when you have a conversation with an attorney, they're going to tell you stuff you never thought of, like you just said. So just have a conversation with them, and they're going to bring stuff up that you're like, oh, well, really? I didn't know that could happen. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, and that's almost the scary part. There's so much out there that you don't know that it is 100% value-driven to ask someone that does know. And just, in my everyday dealings with the organizations and things that I deal with, they miss out on so much by not asking the right questions. And many times you just have to put out there, well, I'm not sure what I'm doing, and I don't know what to ask you, so maybe you just need to tell me what it's supposed to be. And and I loved it, when you say, you don't necessarily know what attorney to go to, but knowing that there's a whole list of different types of specialties, and you just sort of say what your problem is, and then they will help direct it to the right person. It took me a couple of days to find my trademark attorney because I was in an emergency, pressed, called a couple here in Las Vegas, and I never got a return call. And that was, that was like, well, but, here I am ready to, pay you, and ended up with an attorney in Utah that services, the trademark area and could do the work for me, which I was grateful for. But I love, you said 25% discount. I know what I paid for that trademark being a last minute thing. And, that's like writing the check right then, and I could have saved a couple $100. So these are things that, like you said, you don't think about them until they pop up, and in that designated consultant, you get to the right person. In writing those correspondence letters, you add the right power and authority behind your message with, having it come from a legal office or a attorney's office. And these are just also elements of showing and demonstrating that your business is a professional business. It has a great image, and you're doing things the right way. It just adds another level of credibility to your business when you can utilize and have things that are, legally sound and look professional. So it's great. Wow. It's Legal Shield, and once again, I gave the website of how to find it through the Philantrepreneur. But you can also go to the Philantrepreneur Hub. Just go to our website, thephilantrepreneur.com or Philantrepreneur Foundation, and you'll see a tab that says Philantrepreneur Hub. Click that, and right in the middle of the page, you'll see the logo for Legal Shield right there, and it will take you to our page that gives and details the personal plans, identity protection, and the business. The one thing we haven't talked about today is the identity protection, and I know that's an addition to the plans, right? Or how does that work, the identity protection?
Yes, the identity theft protection is $8.95 for an individual per month, and it's so it's a separate plan, or it's $18.95 a month for a family. If you combine it, the family plan with the legal plan, it's $14.95 a month, and that protects the whole family. So our identity theft protection is provided by a company called Kroll, Kroll, and if they go to the website, they can read more about that for sure. But what's different about our identity theft is the fact that if something happens to your identity, we're going to monitor your credit just like any other. You can do up to 10 accounts, up to 10 credit cards. But we also monitor your Social Security number, your driver's license, your medical identity, your email, your social media. We're going to monitor all of your identity. And if something happens, Kroll, a licensed investigator from Kroll, is assigned to you, and they will restore your identity back to the way it was before with a $5 million guarantee that they're going to restore it for life. So no other identity theft out there in North America uses licensed identity theft investigators to restore your identity. We're the only ones that do that, and we are much more cost-effective than any other one out there if you look at having the whole family included. So we saved a lot of money. We had a different type of identity theft when we got Legal Shield, and we were able to have the legal plan and the identity theft plan for our family for quite a bit less than we were just paying for our identity theft protection when we got the legal plan. So it was kind of a bonus for us when we got the plan. And the other thing that I want to mention real quick is the fact that with Legal Shield, whether you have the identity theft plan, and most people, when they have an identity theft issue, they have a legal issue. So that's where the whole umbrella is really important, because if you get pulled over and there's a warrant out for your arrest for tickets that you didn't get because someone stole your driver's license information, which happens all the time. Since I'm in the industry, I hear all these stories. You have a legal situation now. So it really makes sense to have the combination of the two, and that's why Kroll partnered with us several years ago, because we were the biggest legal entity out there, and they were the biggest identity entity, and so that's where they combined forces, and it just really makes sense. But there's something called member perks with any of the plans. So if you have the personal plan, the business plan, or the ID Shield, you have discounts with over 400 companies with our member perks, and so it's wonderful for it's anything from Office Depot to Costco to AT&T, Sprint, Cox, movie tickets, travel. It's wonderful. So we have studies that actually show that members can save on average over $2,000 a year just through the member perks with everyday things that they're buying. So it'll well pay for your membership just by using all of the discounts. And I know business owners need discounts. So,
so you just presented a full package. I mean, just think about it. You've taken all of the stress and worry out of just the day-to-day things that may happen to you. You know there's protection that can help not only your family, your personal life, but what can transition into your business and professional life. And then because all of that worry is gone, you now can get a discount for a movie. You know?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, there's trial protection. So on the personal plan, if you're ever sued in a civil lawsuit, you or your spouse, they actually give you a schedule of trial hours to protect you in that sense. So a business owner, I really always encourage them to go ahead and get the personal plan too and protect themselves because, as you know, we were a corporation, which I thought meant nobody could sue me, but that doesn't mean that. So it's a tax deduction. It's a business expense, so they can go ahead and have their legal budget all spelled out without having to just wonder, oh dear, we're good as long as we don't have any legal problems on the legal budget. So I just want to mention that real quick with the trial defense for the business, for anybody, but for business owners especially.
Okay. I mean, so we just covered it, and I hope the show has been valuable to our listeners. We're not trying to scare you, but it can be scary if you don't have the protection of what you need when you need it. So I really want to encourage you, once again, you can find a link on the Philantrepreneur website. Just, again, if you want to go straight to our site, it's philanthropreneurfoundation.org, or you can actually go to legalshield.com/info/thephilantrepreneur, and that will take you right to our Legal Shield page. But I want, we've had Susan Smith on the show. She is a Legal Shield representative. Just in case people want to talk to you directly, Susan, what is the best way? This is your marketing time, so what is the best way for people to reach you?
They can call me directly on my personal cell number, which is 702-340-6005. That's 702-340-6005. That's really the best way to get hold of me, and if it's more convenient for you, you can text me and I will call you back, and I would be more than happy to either talk with you over the phone and answer any questions or meet with you in person and go over the plan and help you go to the website and get the plan that fits you, make sure that you're getting the right plan for you. And remember, there's no contract with this. It's month to month, so you can get the plan, give it a try, see if it works out for you without any obligation. And so that would be the best way, is just to go ahead and give me a call. If you want to email me, you're more than welcome to do that. My email is pretty easy. It's SusieSmithJ4@gmail.com. So SusieSmithJ4@gmail.com. So feel free to email me as well, and I can try to help answer any questions that you have.
That's fantastic. And I know another place to find her is at any Henderson Chamber event.
Yep.
Come on out and join us, and you'll be able to meet her firsthand. And you got to get out and network, especially if you're a business owner. Thank you, Susan, for being on the show today. I hope you had a great time, and I'm sure I'll see you within the next few days.
And
it was
I really appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. The Philantrepreneur Foundation works every day to help build capacity through education and professional services. We aim to provide nonprofit organizations the knowledge and tools they need with our ongoing efforts, which include training, conferences, consulting, direct business services. All of that to help them become more effective and efficient. Providing all of these services is important because we build capacity and we build community. We're asking you to help us, help nonprofits, a vital asset in every community, and we need your support. For just pennies a day, join our 5 and 10 campaign. Donate $5 or $10 per month, and to do that, learn more at http://thephilantrepreneur.com/5-10-campaign. You'll see it if you just go on the Philantrepreneur Foundation tab and you'll see Support Us 5 and 10 campaign. Look us up on Facebook. The campaign is also there. LinkedIn. You can find us anywhere. Just find the 5 and 10 campaign. We need your support today. So join us next time when we invite Erin McCarthy. She's a lawyer from Houston, Texas, and a multifaceted lawyer that serves the nonprofit sector. And I'm sure you'll find it exciting because we're going to talk about how governance impacts our fundraising efforts. So, in the meantime, we ask, are you a philantrepreneur?
Thank you for tuning in to the Philantrepreneur Radio Show, hosted by Dr. Victoria Boyd. Get involved. Follow us on Facebook and other social media outlets. If you wish to share comments or suggestions or appear as a guest on our show, visit www.thephilantrepreneur.com. Contact Victoria Boyd. Email her at theboyd@thephilantrepreneur.com. The Philantrepreneur Radio Show is a production of and sponsored by the Philantrepreneur Foundation, a 501c3 tax-deductible organization.